opportunity for us to come home in front of our family, fans, Raider Nation, the Black Hole.
Raiders! Goddamn right.
What is up, Raider Nation? J Raider here, and welcome to another episode of JRB Live. This is a post-game reaction show. Raiders versus Saints in New Orleans. Shit, what a game. Raiders win in impressive fashion, 25-10. I never thought I would say that type of score until next year, but here we are. One game left in the season, and Raiders win in impressive fashion, 25-10. What a game. Offense, Raiders in general showed up today. Beautiful, right? We had 2 touchdowns and about like 4 field goals today. And we kept the Saints to 10 points. Beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. As always, I want to thank everybody for jumping in on this live with me. I appreciate y'all. Salute to y'all. Everybody watching at home. Thank you guys so much for jumping on. Make sure you guys hit that chat button. Make sure you guys have your voices be heard. And as always, if you are new to the show, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100 subs. We're at 69. Let's push that up to 100. So if you're new to the show, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Turn on your notifications. I'm dropping shorts as well, doing at least 2 shows per week. I'm doing the Raider Connection every damn Wednesday with Cheetah Linus, Jeff New England Booster, and LV Raider 10. We're doing that every Wednesday. We're breaking down each week's game show. We're probably going to be on Thursday since Wednesday will be New Year's Eve. So make sure you guys tap into that. In the offseason, we're going to be going over the draft, over free agency. All the changes are about to take place in this next in this offseason. So make sure you guys tap into that. But yes, Raiders doing it in New Orleans. I don't know, but I'm pretty pumped about that. To be honest with you, mind you, we did go down on the draft, and we'll get into that in a bit. But Raiders still win in impressive fashion, which is a beautiful thing, right? Really quick, salute to the chat. What up, Rafa? Thank you, brother, for jumping on the show. I'm jumping on the live. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. But yeah, Raiders won 25-10. Let's go ahead and jump into some stats here. And like I said earlier, Raiders put up 25 on the Saints. Now, mind you, Saints are a shell of itself right now. They have quite a bit of injuries, just like us. More on the offensive side, so it's really hard for them to go ahead and put up points right now. But total yards, we had 388 to 269. Passing, literally blew these guys out of the water, 232 to 188. Rushing yards, the running game opened up, and that's why we had that victory here today, 156 to 81. And then first downs, we had 22. New Orleans 13. And this is really where the difference is at. If you look at third down efficiency, we had 10 out of 18. And New Orleans really struggled, only 1 out of 4, 1 out of 10, excuse me. Sacks allowed. We only had 1 sack in the game, which is a great thing. Again, this is a of a team of the Saints. They have a few guys on IR, so we didn't get the full force, but definitely Cam Jordan was present and he did make his presence felt. But we only allowed them on 1 sack on O'Connell. We got 4 on Rattler. Chase on looked wonderful today. Got a little bit scared at the end. I think he got a little stinger, but he was good. But yeah, Chase on looked great. Definitely a guy that we definitely re-signed in the offseason, 100%. Raiders, 3 penalties for 20 yards. Beautiful thing. The Saints 10 for 85, and that literally is a difference maker. It gave us a lot of second chances. Normally, we're on the other side of that coin. But in this game, New Orleans looks like they were the ones who were some questionable characters on the team with some late hits and whatnot, especially at the end with that interception. If you guys saw, super late on that personal foul that was called against the Saints. But let's go ahead and kind of go into the player stats. And good game, obviously. Brock Bowers breaking records today. That boy's on fire. And most likely this guy's going to win Rookie of the Year. But I'll get into that in just a second. Aiden O'Connell, 20 out of 35, 242 with 2 touchdowns. I don't know what the fuck that dude is taking, but he's apparently alive, right? Amir Abdullah had 20 carries, 115. Madison had 10 carries for 32, and that's the type of numbers that we're expecting to see. Madison's more of that RB2. That's really where he thrives. And Abdullah just having a great game. These are good numbers to be able to produce without Sincere McCormick, who is out for the season as well. So good to see here. The biggest thing here, obviously, Brock Bowers, 7 receptions, 77 yards. He didn't get a touchdown in the game, but that would have been the icing on the cake. Jacoby Myers, 5 receptions, 61 yards, 1 touchdown. And then you have Trey Tucker, 2 for 24 with the big touchdown at the end. You had Michael Mayer also involved. Abdullah had some touches as well. And Madison, of course. And then Terrence Marshall with that big reception. And he's another guy off of our practice squad that we have in our reserve. So, but also here, defense showed up, and they brought it. Spillane, great game from Paul Mao. I love what he did today. And obviously Chason, you guys heard me talk about Chason. And we held the Saints to 10 points. That's what we do. And that's good to see that we ended up doing that in this game. Paul Mao had a great game, like I said. And then you had Thomas Harper with the interception. You had Jack Jones with the interception. So they doing the damn thing. Most importantly here, we broke that 20-point glass ceiling. And that's something that we haven't been able to do in a long time. And I'm glad that we got to finally do that. It was long overdue that we're able to go ahead and break that 20-point ceiling. Obviously today, probably the most I would say impactful player of this game side on the offensive side was Brock Bowers. Broke 2 records today. Broke Mike Ditka's record for most receiving yards by a rookie tight end. And then broke the rookie receiving yards as well. So great fucking game from Brock Bowers. And we knew this was going to happen. Obviously he had 2 games to do it. He did it in this game and just fucking annihilated it. Right. So glad to see that Brock had a wonderful game. And obviously, he is definitely a candidate to win. If he's basically not a lock now to win Rookie of the Year. But yeah, that have it. So Brock had the most receiving yards by a rookie tight end, and it had most catches by a rookie ever this season. So beautiful thing. Congrats to Brock. But yeah, that's where we at. Shout out to the chat. Let me go ahead and hit that up. Salute to Raider Ryan. Thank you, brother, for joining on the show. See, what are your thoughts now that we have two meaningless games? I moved on from the number 1 pick to number 8. I'm going to go into that in a bit. Definitely on the agenda. That's definitely something we're going to talk about. Obviously, man, a win's a win. Yes, there's no impact as far as whether we go to the playoffs or not. But hey, right now, what's going to happen is that these guys are still going to play hard. You can't have them not to play hard. That's literally what they get paid for to do. So they're out there playing for jobs next season, and also for their resume. So if they don't stay with the Raiders, they're trying to get picked up somewhere else, right? But yeah, definitely glad to see Brock Bowers gaining his recognition. That boy is just on a different level. He's a fucking beast. So glad to see him do that. But yeah, Paul Mao is he a beast, and that's somebody definitely that we keep next season. If we move on from Marcus Epps, I'm not mad at that. And if we keep Paul Mao, this is basically we're not losing anything at this point. We're probably upgrading because that boy is just terror. So for sure. But let's go ahead and move in to my next subject, the next segue here. But obviously, the biggest thing here from this win, and that we've all talked about, and it's out there on social media, that AP was going to be gone after the season, right? And maybe he's still playing for that job. I don't know. So the rumor is that he's most likely going to be gone at the end of the season. There's the other rumor where he's still playing for his job. Nobody really knows, but it's still AP on his way out despite this win. I don't know. The other rumor was that Mark said that if he wins this game, he is going to have AP stay on another year, right? And that's the thing. And there's other rumors that he's going to be on his way out, and that AP is just playing for a resume right now, right? He's trying to collect wins, trying to show what he can do with the team, so that way he can go ahead and push that out to other teams next year, right? So that is the thing. Let me know you guys' thoughts on this. I think he stays. I think it's just a lot of hype that right now that a lot of rumors that just going around. Obviously, nothing is really substantiated. There's been a couple of things that's come out supposedly from insiders in the Raider camp that he's on his way out. I don't know. I feel that he's still a rookie in this, and that he didn't get the proper team, right? And you have all these injuries that you had this year that does play an impact on how you're able to perform. We lost Devontae to the Jets. We had Christian Wilkins out, Max Crosby's out, Marcus Epps, Kuntz. You have all guys out. So that does play a part in the success of the team. Obviously, we had Getsy, we fired him. We got the Turners. And so now we're starting to see some of that kind of come to fruition, put a couple of wins together. But does he stick around? I think he sticks around. We'll see what happens, obviously. But, we'll know for sure on that Black Monday. So if y'all don't know what Black Monday is that is the first Monday after the end of the season. So we'll know whether Antonio Pierce is still a Raider or the Raiders head coach after that. And salute to everyone celebrating this victory. I know I am having a little drink of my Woodson whiskey, that special edition. So salute to y'all. But Raider Ryan, where was all this effort for the rest of the season? I agree. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's they changed the bar or some shit in Vegas, but Raiders are paying differently, right? So we're on a winning streak, right? We won last week, we won today. Um, Again, these are weaker teams. Jacksonville is not doing too well. They did win their game today, by the way, versus the Titans. Now, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. It's probably not the best thing. If you're following the draft, you're wanting Tennessee to win, but that wasn't the case today. And the Saints obviously dealing with all the injuries that they're dealing right now. Um, Still, it's a shell of itself. Normally, if a couple of players stay around, especially Camaro, they have a shot to definitely win this. They definitely would have scored more than 10 points in this game. But this is what we're expected to do as the Raiders team, right? We're expected to win against the weaker team. We haven't really done that this season. That Falcons game could have won that for sure. We played god awful Carolina at the beginning of the season with majority of our guys are still around. They were so healthy. We got fucking smoked, right? So that's been our MO, to be honest with you. So, but obviously, if does go, who's going to be his replacement? Obviously, there is talks that Mike Grable would be the top candidate to come in and replace him. If AP goes, most likely it'll be a clean sweep, and everybody will probably be let go, and they'll clean house. That would mean Turners are gone. Most likely Patrick Graham will be gone. Just so you guys know, and I talked about this on yesterday's show, so make sure you guys tap into that too. Patrick Graham didn't re-sign his contract. So after the Charger game, he will be a free agent, and he can either stay, re-sign with us, or he can go to another team, either as a defensive coordinator or if he lands a job as a head coach, right? So, but Mike Grable would probably be the best candidate. For one, not only is he a proven coach, he's been to the playoffs. He was with Tennessee, and they had a couple of good years, a couple of good runs over those years that he was there. And he has a good relationship, obviously, with Tom Brady, which is a minority owner now. And he's going to be running football operations come the end of the season. So, what better than him, right? So you have Mike Grable coming in. If Dable over in New York let go, that might be our new offensive coordinator. Robert Saleh, that name's been thrown out as a possible defensive coordinator candidate as well. So, there's other names being thrown around, and we're really deep dive into that next month. But that is currently what's out there, that Mike Grable might be the top candidate to replace if truly Antonio Pierce is on his way out. So, and we'll see what happens. Does this win obviously help Antonio Pierce? It does, definitely. He came out here, mind you. Raiders left late yesterday. They had plane trouble. They left at 7 p.m. Pacific time in Vegas, and didn't get to New Orleans till like midnight. Then get to the hotel room till about 1 a.m. And then got a few hours sleep, and then woke up and got ready to the game, headed over to the stadium. You're battling two time zones in your internal clock, right? So you're jet lagged, and you went out there and just put on a fucking performance, right? So that's obviously skill too. That's obviously skill, but also that's your head coach really pushing the envelope, making those guys go out there and give it their all when when honestly your body's just saying, "Hey, you know what? I just want to go and and sleep for the next day." You know what I mean? So, um, big, big shout out to the Raiders, obviously, with battling over that and overcoming it and pulling out the win. But yes, this win does help Antonio Pierce in his case to stay on as head coach. Obviously, if you win next week versus the Chargers, that be the thing that seals it, right? And my thing was from the beginning of this year, I said if you have a 2-15 record, it's going to be hard to justify your existence as head coach. And we were at 3-12. Now we're on 4-12. So him staying on as a head coach might be more of a realistic thing. Obviously, I don't know what's going on truly behind the scenes because nothing has been said officially, but we all can make our best guess. They don't have the best relationship right now, Antonio Pierce and Tom Telesco. But despite that, they're going to be evaluated differently. The goal here is always to put on a great team, a great product on the field. Us as fans want to go to these games. We want to see our team win and be successful. So that is a common goal, and you can put all your differences aside to make that happen. But does Antonio Pierce stay on another year? I think that does happen. So again, let me know your guys' thoughts on this. Shout out to Dark and Duck. Raiders are tanking organization. Sports entertainment is rigged. All right, I don't know about that, bro, but it's really hard to rig stuff like that. But you know, if that's your take on it, more power to you. But that's kind of where I'm at. Mike Grable might be the next head coach if Antonio Pierce is on his way out. But let's move on to obviously with the Raiders winning today, it does change things for them come draft wise. Now, mind you guys, there's been other developments on today's game, right? Biggest thing here is that the New York Giants won today. But now that they can win, they put a shellacking on fucking Indianapolis, right? They won like 45-26 was like the kind of score. Um, that's insane. Who would have thought that the New York Giants, out of all teams, can score 45 points, right? But yet they did it. And then won their game in impressive fashion. Another game that we had today was Jacksonville and Tennessee. So Jacksonville won their game. Now, if you again, like I said, if you're following the draft order, you wanted Tennessee to win just because Jacksonville is not a team who is uh, quarterback focused, quarterback needy, I should say. They're looking more to draft Travis Hunter if they're able to at wherever position they are at, right? But Tennessee won, and they are currently number 2. Another game that's currently going on is Miami and Cleveland. That's another game that we be watching, and obviously we want Cleveland to win that one, so that way they're able to go ahead and go down as well. Let's go ahead and go into that. I'll show you guys real quick. Give me a second. All right. But so far, let me know you guys' thoughts on this. Um, is this something where um, we still pursue back being at this point in the draft? So as you see, New England now is number 1. Tennessee is number 2. You got Giants dropping down to 3, so now they lost a number 1 overall pick. Cleveland at 4. You got Jacksonville at 5, and that rounds off your top 5. You got the Jets at 6, Carolina at 7, and then we are at 8 now. So we are officially at number 8 in the order. That does give us a few options. Obviously, we can still move up to either 1 or 2 to try to get that number 1 overall pick. Um, Obviously, that's our focus. We still have 1 game left in the season. As far as from the Raiders standpoint of us being able to beat the Chargers, that's going to be a tough task, right? Chargers are doing their thing this year. They are playoff bound, and so it's going to be kind of difficult for us to go ahead and get a win unless they most likely sit stars, just depending on the situation. But obviously, they are a division rival. We do hate them; they hate us. There's no love lost for that. So for them to kind of lay down and put their guys on the bench is going to be really tough for them. I don't see that happening. I see that. I see them starting their guys and bringing it to us. So it'll be interesting. That final game is going to be in Vegas. There's the time as far as when it starts. That hasn't been determined yet, but it's most likely going to be an afternoon game. Um, but yeah, so we probably going to lose that one. That will help us go up in the draft. Obviously, having these guys win, um, everybody who's ahead of us, that again, New England, Tennessee Giants, Cleveland, Jacksonville, the Jets, Carolina, if they win their games, they go down, we go up. So the landscape could change again. Like I said, you don't want to hit the panic button yet. I did say that if we fucked around and won this game, I saw out of the top 10 and we're still in there. Some reports said 9, and we got lucky. We ended up in 8, so we're still in the top 10. We'll still have some maneuverability. We're still able to go ahead and make a deal to go back up in the draft board. Realistically, if Giants win their next game, they drop down more. We might not need to go up to number 1. We might be able to go ahead and get a quarterback at 3, at 4. Again, it just depends who are the leaders, what are their needs. If they're quarterback focused and they're looking to go ahead and acquire a quarterback, that's somebody that we might have to be ahead of just to make sure that we secure either Cam or Shedeur being the top 2 prospects currently in this NFL draft. But that's where you have it. This is where our number 8 in the board. But yeah, let's move on to our next thing, because obviously we're being number 8. It changes things, but the biggest thing here, the biggest talk, I don't know if you guys are college football fans or not, or if you're just a Shedeur Cam fan. Obviously, there was bowl games yesterday that were going on. I caught that Buffalo game. I didn't have a chance to catch the Hurricane game, but I did see the highlights on that. But Colorado ended up losing. Got blown out yesterday by BYU, and good old Shedeur didn't have a great performance. So they got blown out. I believe it was 36-14 was the final score. They only ended up picking up 2 touchdowns in the whole game. At one point, it was 27-0 in the game. And if you guys saw my short reel, if you're on social media, if on Instagram or on the short, there were 27-7 when I posted. They had just scored. Obviously, Buffalo is known to start off late. They're really a half team, but being down 27 points, it's a hard deficit to overcome, and they couldn't pull it off. Right? They had Shedeur's number yesterday. They applied pressure. They sacked him 4 times. It was insane. It was insane. But that brings up a question, right? With or losing yesterday, does his stock go down? Right? So Shedeur loses, he doesn't have a great performance. It is a bowl game. Those things do matter, believe it or not. It's not just a regular season type game. There is no tomorrow for them. Their season's over. Uh, so for them to have a pretty piss poor performance does say something. And so that raises a question: can this kid really perform, in big game scenarios like this, right? So, if the Raiders were to draft them and we're able to, um, if we get into a game where we have playoff implication on the line, or we reach the playoffs, and we're obviously trying to advance, can Shedeur Sanders perform? And that's a question that a lot of teams are gonna start talking about. Is he that quarterback that can thrive under pressure, can thrive under big games? Because um, being under deficit is one thing, but being when you have basically all eyes on you from everybody across the country, world, have their eyes on you, you're not able to perform in those big games. That might be something that you might want to kind of look at and reevaluate whether or not this guy might be the right person for your team. So obviously, if his stock goes down, what that means for us, he's going to be available at a lower draft pick. So let's say, for example, we stay at 8 or we move up maybe to 6, and we're still out of the top 5. Shedeur Sanders might still be available, and we might still draft them. And just because he has a shit game, also um, doesn't mean that he's always going to have a shit game, right? He has Tom Brady as his mentor, right? What better mentor can he have? And depending who's going to be on board as an offensive coordinator, that's also going to go ahead and make a difference, right? Um, but you know, having that having a terrible game does make an impact. Might go ahead and bring down his stock, and not be that number one overall pick. Um, you know, everybody was basically projecting him to be um, at number one. So um, obviously, we still have another game to go. Depends where we land on the draft, right? But um, having Shedeur back, it most likely will go down. Now, on the flip side to that, right? Maybe the Giants don't draft them at 3 or 4, wherever they end up at. Maybe they try to pursue Cam Ward. Maybe we try to pursue Cam Ward, right? Maybe we shift our focus from being so fixated with Shedeur Sanders that we might go out and try to pursue Cam Ward. Obviously, there's a little rumor that Telesco likes Cam Ward a little bit better than Shedeur, right? But obviously, having the relationship with Davis and Brady, they're probably going to go ahead and go after Shedeur, and that's mostly the consensus. And among Raider Nation, we're still pretty much split. I've heard people on the Shedeur train. There's others on the Ward train. Honestly, I'm 50-50. I really don't care who we get. So one of those two guys. I mean, I'm even open for Gilbert at this point if we're literally knocked out, completely out of the top 10. But out of the two, Shedeur is the more NFL ready type quarterback. But honestly, once they get to this level and they start doing preseason, and obviously when we're in camp, we're gonna have the reports, and we're really gonna be able to kind of determine whether or not these guys start the season right away, or they're gonna sit out either half of the season or the whole season behind their respective quarterback, right? So for us, obviously we have Aiden O'Connell. Salute to you guys. We have Aiden O'Connell. I think most likely he's going to stay on with us, especially having performances like this where he's looked better. Um, and, like I said, I don't mind him staying on, but having him kind of being that bridge quarterback to have Shedeur or Cam sit behind him a season or half a season to kind of really learn the offense and really learn the system and how things really evolve at the highest level. Is going to be beneficial to them, and we're still able to have um, some type of season together. Definitely not a 4-13 season or 5-12 season, obviously, but something where it's more respectable. But that's kind of my take on that as far as whether or not Brock comes in. I'm sorry, whether or not Shador or Cam comes in as a draft pick. And then that's the thing. And that's the other question. Do the Raiders still trade up to go ahead and get Shador or Cam? You still, I think the mandate doesn't change. I think you still go after your guy. Um, you still try to go after a quarterback, no matter where you land at. And that's really up to Telesco. And I said this before on yesterday's show that that's the reason why Tom Telesco brought in, for him to go ahead and put a winning team together, to get draft picks, to get free agents, the best player available to go ahead and put a winning product on the field for us, right? That hasn't happened. We kind of band-aided the season with Gardner Minshew. Um, we lost Devontae. So that could be a blessing in disguise, obviously. I'm not mad that he left. That's actually a kind of a better thing that he left. But aside from Jacoby Myers, we don't really have a real threat out there. Trey Tucker's just deep threat, but as far as a route runner, we don't really have that right now currently. So, um, those are some of the holes that we have to fill. Obviously, having a solid running back. Zamir White didn't work out. We're having to rely on Abdullah and Madison. We had McCormick, and he looked like he was going to go ahead and be a bright spot for us. And then he goes out on IR, and he's out for the season as well. So we have all that. But that really falls on Tom Telesco to get up in the draft, to do those deals, to make that stuff kind of happen, right? So I think we still do our thing. We still pursue a quarterback, whether it's Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, either or, and we go out and get them. But you guys let me know your thoughts on that. Hit up the chat again. Chat lives matter. If you guys are watching this, thank you guys for jumping on this live. Again, if you're new to the show, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you guys. Hit that like button. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe. Turn on notifications. I'm dropping shorts every week. I'm doing 2 shows a day, 2 shows a week. Doing Raider Connection on my show, then this post-game reaction show after every game. So I'm doing the damn thing. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. But yes, let's go ahead and go to the chat real quick, because obviously chat lives do matter. Shout out to Camila. Congratulations, Brock Bowers. Yes. Again, Brock doing the damn thing, breaking records, broke the record, and then broke the rookie reception record for, I believe, most catches. So shout out to him. Obviously, this guy is going to most likely win Rookie of the Year. I don't know who else besides Jaden Daniels will be a contender for that, right? Bo Nix, he's having a good year, but he's putting up numbers like Brock Bowers. He's not putting up numbers like Jaden Daniels, right? Caleb Williams, forget about him. You know what type of season that they're having in Chicago. So Drake May, I think he's still on the bed. JJ McCarthy, he's out for the year. So really, it's Brock leading that forefront. So I think we see him as that Rookie of the Year winner. I hope he does. He deserves it. He's balled out this year. He's done so much for us. So Shout out to him, and I hope he does win it. Shout out to Alex. AP still needs to go. He might go, man. I don't know. That is a word on the street. Obviously, he might be playing for a resume right now. We don't know. There's rumors he's still playing for the job, and that's the thing. If he's on his way out, he's playing for a resume. He's still gonna go out and win. Why? Because he's trying to shop his resume to other teams next year. Rafa, we need a RB caliber on that draft. We do need to pick up a running back for sure. Genty has been throwing out there, so that might be somebody that we pursue. Alec, Abdullah doing it big for us old guys. He is. He had a great game today. Really opened the run game. He broke that 100-yard mark. And again, that's always a key to victory, is having us break 100 yards in rushing, something that we really haven't done much this year. We've only done it a handful of times where we broke 100 yards, which is great. But shout out to Gerardo. Camden is a beast. But yeah, let you guys know your thoughts on whether or not Raiders still move up to go ahead and get quarterback in this next draft. Obviously, whether you're on the Cam Ward train or you're on the Shedeur train, you know, the point is we still need a quarterback at the end of the day, right? So do we go ahead and go after that? But the next best question, aside from that, and I'll go ahead and read off your questions in a second, is that where do we end in this draft order, right? And like I said, everybody's quick to panic, right? We were at 6, we're now at 8. We might get some more people panicking, but again, like I said, that's Tom Telesco's job. He's literally there to go ahead and get us whatever we need, right? If we need to move up on the draft order, if that's something that's mandated by ownership, he needs to go ahead and do that, right? He needs to figure that part out. So that's going to require him getting on the phone, touching base with other teams out there, and making those deals, right? So whether we trade players, whether capital involved, where we're sending money, we're sending draft picks, or a combination of all 3 or 2 or whatever, get that, and that is what he's going to do. So whether we are outside of the top 10, whether we're in the top 5 and we're not number 1, that's something that it's going to fall on him to go ahead and get done on his end. So I wouldn't be quick to panic where we end. Like I mean earlier, I don't know if we win this next game versus the Chargers. Obviously, Chargers are doing good. But let me kind of see what their record is. But I think they are 10 and something or other. But yeah, I don't see us winning that game. They're 10 and 6. They have a 10 and 6 record, and so we are the last game. They are on a bye, and we're their last game. So on a 10 to 6 record, I don't see us beating that team unless they bench their starters. That's the only way we're gonna really win. If they bench Herbert, if they bench the rest of their guys, then we have a shot of possibly beating them. But obviously, they're a division rival. There's bad blood between us with all of AFC. We all hate each other's guts. So they're gonna go out and bring it to us. So I definitely see that happening. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts. I think that we end up if we lose, and it depends what the other teams do. So if Giants win their next game, if Tennessee wins their next game, they're going to go down, right? So we might end up back at 6. We might end up at 5. If we're lucky, we end up at 4, right? We want to go at least half our position. We want to end up in the top 5 to have a real shot to try to get a Shedeur Cam. It's still yet to be determined on how that's going to go ahead and play out. But if we're in that position, then we have room to maneuver, right? We can go ahead and trade up with a different team to get the number 1 pick or number 2 pick. Or maybe we just sit back and let Cam or Shedeur just fall into our lap. That's based off what other teams need, right? So you guys know, again, like talked about on yesterday's show, Cleveland restructured Deshaun Watson's contract, so he's going to get paid. He's going to stay in Cleveland for quite a while. So they're not really needing a quarterback right now, right? Jacksonville has Trevor Lawrence, and they're set on that. They need a receiver, though. That's what their need is. Tennessee, I think, does need a quarterback. Giants need a quarterback. And New England has Drake May, so they're set on their quarterback. So it just kind of depends on what they need and whether or not they want to go ahead and give up those top pick that top pick to us. But if it's like if it's a Cleveland or if it's possibly New England or Jacksonville, that's something that they might go ahead and do, especially being at 4, right? And if Travis goes number 1 and Jacksonville's at 2 or 3, that might be a situation what happens where we give up a number 1 round pick and a number 2 for next year, and they give up that 2 or 3 spot, right? So that's different possibilities, different outcomes. That's really where the trading up goes, right? I hope to see a really good draft this next coming year where we're able to go ahead and get the quarterback that we need, and then also possibly trade back to try to get receivers, because that's something that we definitely need. We need guys who are 6 feet or taller to be playing for us, right? Because most of our guys are under 6 feet. I think Trey Tucker's like 5'9" or something like that. But yeah, really quick to the chat, Alec, we need upgrades on our line. That's something definitely that we can pursue that maybe in the 4th, 5th round, maybe 3rd even as well. Obviously, running back, we need some more depth defensively. And as far as the O-line too, we can always mix that in with some draft picks and free agency. It's a little bit harder to get a good quality offensive lineman in free agency. Most of those guys kind of stick around with their own teams. A lot of the dudes really don't go somewhere else, right? Unless they're not that good. So, but again, we'll see what happens with that. Defensively, obviously there's some guys that are going to stay for us. There's some guys that are going to go. You have obviously Chase on. I think you re-sign Spillane, obviously. Chase on. Keep him out. Jack Jones still up in the air. I think you re-sign him as well and see what he can do next couple of years. And then, obviously with the whole Max situation, that's going to most likely what's going to happen. He's probably going to go ahead and get extended, right? He's going to get restructured and extended. That's what his contract is going to look like. What are we going to do with Kuntz now? That's a question here. With his type of injury, does he come back the same type of guy, or are we going to see a different Kuntz? I don't know. That's a question, and that's a hard question to answer. Do you keep the guy or do you let him go? I don't know. I think you can keep the guy. He had a really good performance prior, but you sign him on a limited contract, and depending how much he wants. If he's cheap, then we keep him. If he's not, if he wants a lot, you let him go. Most likely we can go ahead and get somebody else to fill in that position. Obviously, Chase Hunt is on a fucking tear this season, and we only had him for half of the season. Imagine that guy with full camp and a full season to play. This guy would be next level, right? And we want guys like that. We want guys on the next level. We can't always depend on Max to come in and save the fucking day, right? That that dude is just out of this fucking world, the beast, right? And try to find another Max is kind of finding like a needle in a haystack. You almost can't find it, right? But if you have other guys who step up, who come in and shine, that's kind of what we want. If we can go ahead and get, you know, uh, half a max, but if we get 11 guys who are half a max, that's going to make all the difference, right? And that's what we're trying to put together. So obviously, with that, I think Max stays. Obviously, this is all what he said on his podcast the other day. I mean, that's all negotiation tactic. He said repeatedly that his heart is here with the Raiders. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. But obviously, after a while, your heart, having mediocre seasons, your spirit and your heart starts kind of diminishing. So we really have to be aggressive and try to go out and try to get put together basically a winning team. That's what we have to do. There has to be a progression. And there hasn't been real progression. We've been trying to band-aid all this shit every year. That's what happens. Every year we're trying to bring this quarterback to have that one real good season and not really look forward towards the future. We're going to have to change that mindset if we really want to go ahead and get out of this mediocre kind of phase, right? It's been 20 years, if not more, of mediocrity, right? Because we really haven't had any real plan for the future. And that's what we're trying to do here. And that's why I think everybody is more like, okay, let's really, really invest in this draft. And I'm pretty sure that's what Davis really brought into Lesko because he is good at drafting. The only thing is he's not aggressive. He's on Tom. He's very strategic. He's very calculated on the type of people he drafts, right? And as you saw in this past draft, yeah, we didn't get a quarterback, but all three of his top picks hit, right? So you got Brock Bowers, who's basically rookie of the year now, right? And if he's not, I'm gonna be very upset about that. But you got Brock Bowers, right? And then you got JPJ, who's fucking killing it, and you got DJ Glaze, who is another prospect that is working out really well. So you got three guys who are rookies that are performing. That's fucking phenomenal. That's almost unheard of. Right? You usually get one or two guys that work out. Not all three of your top, round picks and shit. So, that's what he's known for. But what he's not known for is being aggressive. He has to be aggressive. He has to come out of his shell for this next draft because that's what ownership wants. That's what Tom wants. That's what Mark wants. They want a quarterback. They want to have a high-powered offense. They want to put asses in those seats because those tickets are $300 minimum regular season, and to justify that, you got to have a winning product on the field, right? Us as fans, we see that. We're tired of seeing decades after decades, years after years of just mediocrity, of us having losing seasons or not making playoffs or, just by, a win or two. It's frustrating. So this is where, again, I've said it before, you got to go all out in this draft. But again, let's go ahead and go to the chat. You'll see, just gave me some prediction. Let me do the rest. And you you had that this game. You'll see. One sack. So there you go. 2 touchdowns. That's what happened. But Raiders could have gone in Daniel Hunter a while back through free agency. Yeah, that could have happened. But Ernest, salute to Ernest. Thank you for jumping on, brother. Appreciate you. 2 in a row, baby. The winning streak will be intact versus the Chargers. Then 20 and 25, we keep it rolling. That's how committed to excellence begins. So let's do it, Raiders. I don't know, man. That is a very hard game. That is a very hard game. These guys turned their shit around this year, 10-6. So I don't know if we were able to go ahead and beat those guys. Obviously, that game is in Vegas, and I was there for that Jacksonville game. The crowd, if the crowd is involved, and that will make the difference. It does. The energy was different for that Jacksonville game, so that's definitely a possibility. But on paper, I don't know. I don't see it happening. But obviously, we'll see. We're on a 2-game winning streak. Chargers are on a bye this week, and so we'll be each other's last game next week. So definitely a possibility of that happening. But again, kind of going on final thoughts here, and again, if you guys are watching the show, again, please make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Again, trying to hit that 100 subs. Make sure you guys wipe your feet, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. I'm dropping shorts every week. I'm doing 2 shorts a week as well. So make sure you guys tap in for that. But on the final thoughts, and you guys also let me know your thoughts out there. Hit that chat. Chat lives do matter. And I'll try to go ahead and address you guys' questions as well. But final thoughts here. Obviously, 1 game left. We're almost at the finish line. We can call off this. We can start moving on from this atrocious season. Even if Ernest is right and we end up at 5-12, it's still a dog shit of a season, right? Because we're not in the playoffs. We're not trying to go ahead and make a run to the Super Bowl. So anything below that is a failure. That's the way you have to look at these things. If you're not able to have a winning season, it's a failure, right? So this is not a winning season; it's a failure. So I think myself and a lot of other fans are ready to go ahead and move on. But the bright spot is the draft, possibly drafting Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, getting a lot of key players that we need to go ahead and fill in as well. Is another bright spot. Obviously, free agency. I talked about a little bit yesterday. T. Higgins is going to be on the market next year. He had a phenomenal game yesterday versus Denver. I thought Denver had it. Nope, they got fucking crushed by the Bengals, and that was a beautiful thing. But T. Higgins had a great game. There's I think Godwin is also going to be available on free agency. So there's going to be a couple guys out there. Obviously you got Adam Jones is going to be available as running back. So you have a few guys out there that we can go ahead and acquire. We need to acquire a little bit more depth defensively for the guys who don't stick around, who we move on. Obviously, we need to fill in the spots. So it's going to be interesting who we get from that free agency. And literally, one of the biggest questions alongside that, we just talked about Max, and I think Max stays. That's all a negotiating tactic by him, doing what he did on his podcast, and that's he has that right to say that, and it's not a bad thing. It's just what he's able to do. He has a platform where he can get and voice his opinion and voice his thoughts, and obviously, he does so much. He does so much in the off season to prepare to try to better himself. Puts his body on the line every fucking game. This guy plays every fucking snap. It's hard to get this guy not to play every snap. He just wants to pay for that. There's no wrong in that, right? You can't fault the guy for doing that. But he's been very vocal about staying with the Raiders, retiring a Raider. And that talk rarely happens, right? Rarely happens. And it's because the way that this team is, the way we as fans embrace Max, support Max. So if you guys love Max, make sure you guys keep doing what you're doing. If you never heard of Max Crosby, which you gotta fucking live in Pluto or some shit, Go look up Max and see the things that he does. He does so much shit to prepare and try to better himself and really set himself and us for success. So yes, that man should definitely get paid. I think he should be extended to the point where he's able to go ahead and retire as a Raider. That's my thoughts on it. Obviously, there's other discussions where he can, we possibly move on for him, trade him away for draft picks or get a number one pick or some shit like that, or get draft capital. That talk has been out there. I don't agree with that. I think if that's really where his heart is and he wants to stay with, give him that opportunity, pay the man. He deserves it, right? Uh, the other big question is obviously, does the AP stay? I don't know. That is because there's mixed reactions, right? I heard that if Mark had said that if he wins this game versus that he stays on. There's rumors saying, and again, this is all rumors, guys. Nothing has been substantiated. This is all hearsay shit. But obviously, the rumor is that he's on his way out, regardless of the fact. And he's just basically paying for his resume right now, right? So there's been that talk. Don't know. I think he should stay on. See, he's the rookie. He's trying to learn how to go ahead and coach and be an effective coach. There was a different scenario when he came in as interim. Now he's had a full year. He didn't get the team that he wanted, right? That he wanted to go ahead and have put together. He didn't get his star quarterback, right? That didn't happen. We had a bunch of injuries that happened, and 3/4 of the team are out on IR, right? Basically, majority of the stars are out on IR. Have Michael Mayer majority of the season, right? Thank God Brock stayed healthy, and that was the only real bright spot aside from Jacoby Meyer and then now AOC, right? We brought in Gardner Minshew thinking like he was going to be an answer to our problems, and he ended up being the problem along with Luke Getty. So all that shit that happened at the beginning of the season does play a part, and that has to be taken consideration. Obviously, no fault to him. He's had questionable decisions, right? During the game, right? Not challenging properly, mismanagement of time clock. Some people say questionable play calling, though he doesn't do most of the play call. He does not do the most of the play call. That goes from upstairs from at the time getting out the Turners and Patrick Matt, right? So maybe more defensively where he's making those calls, but as far as game management, there's been some questionable decisions that they're kind of head scratchers, right? So got to take all that in consideration, the good and the bad. But he definitely was not set up for success this season. Definitely not with Gardner Minshew as your starting quarterback. So you have that, but then you have the question: is AOC going to stick around? He looks like he is, right? He's had 2 pretty decent games. He had a better game than last week's game, which is good. That's what you want to see. You want to see some type of progression, and you want to see scoring from him. Starting to do that. Is he going to be the bridge quarterback or the starting quarterback for next year? He probably will be, right? Whoever we draft, whether it's Cam or Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel, if we were not able to get those guys or whoever, right? It don't matter. They're probably going to sit behind AOC. That's probably the case. Obviously, there's still the rumors that we might go out and try to get Justin Fields or I forget the other names have been thrown out there as well that we potentially pursue. Sam Darnold, we trade for. We pursue Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, I believe, he's a free agent at the end of this year. Or we trade for McCarthy and we don't give up. We stay at wherever we land and get McCarthy, which I find that kind of hard to believe that Minnesota basically went out of the way to go ahead and get their guy just because their backup is falling out. doesn't mean that they're going to toss this guy to the wayside. So I don't see that happening, but obviously shit has been known to be weird at times, and stranger things have happened, right? So that's kind of my take on it. Again, I want to hear you guys' opinion. Let me know out there. Hit up that chat. Again, if you're new to the show, thank you. Appreciate you guys jumping on. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Turn on your notifications as always. But let me go ahead and go into the chat because again, I want to hear you guys' thoughts on everything that's gonna potentially happen this next coming this off season, right? So Alec, many decisions to come this offseason. Yes, many decisions. Offensive coordinator is going to be one of them, alongside possibly head coach. So I say possibly because we don't know yet, right? But offensive coordinator for sure, that's something that we do know. Who are they going to bring in? There's Dable. Maybe bring somebody from from college to and be offensive coordinator. So there's that. So it'll be interesting to see who the Raiders consider for that position. Salute to King Boogie. Thank you for jumping on. Appreciate you. I hope they keep AP. Me too. I'm not, and I am an AP fan, but it's like if AP goes, I'm not gonna be, riding in the streets. I'm not gonna be. I'll be a little bit heartbroken about it, but I'm not gonna be, screaming at the top of my lungs saying that's bullshit, right? This is a business. At the end of the day, the record speaks for itself. It's his job to make sure that we have a winning team, but it is very difficult to do that when most of your starting team is on IR. So we'll see what happens. Dollar Bill, appreciate you. Milroe is a pick for QB. Now, this is the thing. Pretty sure this is fact. I got to double check, but I'm pretty sure I saw an article where it says that Milroe is going to not enter the draft and is going to go to Oregon at the end of his bowl game. So we'll see. He might not be an option. I got to double check on that. I must just say it's a rumor now. But I remember seeing something where he's projected to go into the transfer pool to go to Oregon. So it might be somebody, it might be Gabriel, or it might be somebody else along that caliber that we consider aside from Cameron Shedeur. Alex, get Archie Manning for next draft. I don't know if Raider Nation can wait that long, to be honest with you, brother. So that might be a stretch. It looks like they're not going to wait. They're going to try to get a quarterback this year. But yeah, my opinion, shout out. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. The football guy said here, pick top 3, and the Raiders responded with, "Nah, we good." All right. John, appreciate you for jumping on. I heard Elsewhere Turner head coach and Verbal or Ryan as DC. So I don't know about Turner being head coach. Grable might be the option, and he's probably the top candidate if they decide to go ahead and move on from AP. So Ryan at DC, that's also a possibility. Robert Saleh might be a possibility as well. So we'll see what happens with that. Ernest, Drew Alar and Milroe are staying. So our driver 26. Alar is staying. That's for sure. That's confirmed. Milroe, I think it's confirmed. I think it's up in the air. I don't want to say it's 100%. I gotta look that up, but most likely won't be a part of this upcoming draft. Again, remind you guys, I don't think you wait that long to try to draft quarterback until the following year. And who knows that even if Tom Telesco's even around, if he doesn't go out and get a quarterback in this next coming draft, he'll probably get shit canned because this is something that really Mark Davis is really hyper focused on and trying to get a quarterback for this next coming season. So again, we'll see what happens. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts on this. Obviously, chat, live, Zoom, and make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. As always, keep supporting the show. Again, I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. I'll be doing another show this next coming week, probably New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, and then we have the Raider Connection Thursday, most likely, and then we're breaking down that Chargers versus Raiders game that's going to be coming up. As always, make sure you guys hit up the socials, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and X, JRaider_505. That's JRaider_505. Make sure you guys give me a follow on that. But let's hit back to the chat. Ernest, you're right on to Let's Go, but we online for whoever our QB is. 100%. We need a fucking online. There's been every year say this shit. I literally go on to the Raiders on the Raiders account on their post and say we need a fucking online. We need an online. And we started doing that this past draft, and I hope that continues. I hope we're able to get somebody in free agency as well if there are all of our guys in the draft. Because obviously we do need other guys besides linemen. We need a running back. We need wide receivers. Probably wide receivers a little bit more important because we got McCormick, and look like McCormick's going to stick around for this next season coming up. Especially he was balling out until he got injured, unfortunately, and he sticks around. I don't know if we keep Abdul. I think Abdullah and Madison are gone after this, so we'll see what happens. But we do need an O-line for sure, 100%. My opinion, we cornerback and linebacker. Yes, we need more depth on that. So I hope that we're able to get in and get a linebacker. Obviously, if we're not able to get a quarterback at wherever the fuck we're at, right? Abdul Carter has been the name that's been thrown around to draft, right? Maybe that's somebody that we do, right? That would be eventually to replace Max Crosby, because like it or not, they all have a shelf life. Max Crosby has a shelf life. He's 27 years old. He's been playing 110% for the last 5 years, 6 years now. And so it's going to take a toll on you, right? So eventually there has to be a replacement for Max in the future, or close to a replacement for Max that we can develop. We thought it was going to be Tyree. He ain't the one. He ain't the one. That's for damn sure. So obviously, we either way, we learned this season with all the injuries that happened. We need depth. We need depth, and luckily, guys have stepped up to fill in those spots. Shout out to Jacorian Bennett. He was having a phenomenal year before he got injured. That's for him. Hope him a speedy recovery and seeing him back in 2025. But guys stepped up, and that's what we wanted, right? So again, we still need to go ahead and fill in those holes, especially on the offensive side. But Jamar, we need a couple more Power Johnsons. Yep, give me 2 more, and I think we'll be all right. For sure. Give me 2 more. I think we'll be all right. Shout out to John. Thank you for jumping in, brother. The RB position is a deep trade. Crosby for number 1 and more. I don't know. For a deep trade, I don't know. I don't think Max is worth that. But hey, who knows? But yeah, no, I don't see us trading away Max. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting who we get in this free agency, who we draft. Draft wise, like running back, receiver, O line, defense as well. Some guys are not going to stick around. Have Morik. I think you should sign Morik for next year. Need Hobbs. You could take or leave him, especially if he's going to want a lot more. Let him go. That guy is injury prone for sure. Marcus Epps, you can go ahead and part ways. We got to pull him out, right? He's doing great. Morik has been playing pretty solid this season, so definitely got to give that guy a chance. Ernest, agency teams, an O lineman, and maybe a D lineman, then draft a D lineman, cornerback, QB, running back, and O lineman. T. Higgins is gonna, just so y'all know, T. Higgins is gonna be expensive. That's gonna be starting at 30 million plus. So I don't know if we're ready to and give up something like that, 30 million per year type of thing, or something along those lines. So yeah, he's probably gonna be one of the most sought out free agent wide receivers in this offseason. That's if he doesn't stick around in Cincinnati. They might give him an offer where he's extended and he stays on. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but obviously, time will tell. We would have 2 first round picks this year, and we didn't until it was too late for our previous players once started to complain. Okay, so what he's saying is basically, if we trade Max, we would get 2 first round picks for him. That might be, obviously that's a possibility. I don't see, this is the thing. I don't think you trade Max for that. I think he's worth that and more, right? Definitely capital. Definitely just not 2 first round draft picks, definitely 3 first round draft picks. He's worth that much. He's such an impactful player. You can fucking almost ask for anything with that guy. Mind you, this, if you trade Max, you're gonna have the majority of Raider Nation up in roar. That is something that is not going to be widely accepted. I'm gonna be real. I'm not gonna accept that, right? You can say about the future and all this shit, but realistically, you also need Max being part of that future, right? If he ain't here, then yeah, obviously, if we're not getting quarterback, if we're really not doing anything in the draft, there'll still be time to let Max go. You can say now that makes a more of an argument, but I think what he wants a team that's a really good team put together for him to be able to say, hey, you know what, I can do my thing on my side of the ball, and I know on the other side of the ball they're going to ball and do their thing. That's ultimately what he wants and what he's looking for. He's just tired of this mediocrity bullshit where we're having a 7-10 season, 9-8 season, 8-9 seasons where we're not going anywhere. We've only made like 2 playoff appearances in the last like 10, 12 weeks, something like that. So that's not good enough. That's not good enough for somebody of that caliber. That's not good enough for us. Shit, we're tired of it. We're just the fans. Imagine for somebody who works hard all year long and sacrifices his body game in and game out, and just being stagnant. So if that's the case, right, if you trade him away, it's because you don't have a team for him. You can make that argument. But to trade him away to rebuild, I don't know. I can't get behind that. But Jamar, if Max goes, it'll be another Jacob situation where we let go of a star player. Yeah, and that's kind of what it would boil down to. We let go of a star player. I think what Jacobs wanted and what Max wants is just, they want a team rebuild around them. That's it. He's saying he doesn't want to rebuild. I know all that, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be in a mediocre team either, right? He wants to win. He said that repeatedly, over and over and over and over again. So you have to put that together for him, and that starts with good draft picks, getting key players in agency. I know on that. If you guys didn't watch that podcast, watch it. But he's he's vibed with certain players 1 year, and then next thing you know they're gone. So it's just a revolving door, and I could see why. I could see like, hey, you know what, a good thing going on here. I'm vibing with this team. We're all on the same page. We know what we're supposed to do. Then, boom, a couple guys leave, and then they bring in new guys, and then you're gonna you restart that process. You restart the process with a new coach. Luckily, with Patrick Graham, they've had a little bit of stability in that department, but as far as head coach, that's still a revolving door. But that's kind of what he's looking for. He's looking for a solid, stable winning team for him, right? Ernest, give Max a contract period, but for only 2 years, and build up our D line in the draft. He'll probably wants out though. If you're gonna, I don't know. If you were gonna build up a team, if that's the case, if that's the route you want to build up your D line, you're not gonna want out. You're not gonna want out. If you put up a good product, both sides of the ball, and you have a winning season, he's not gonna want to go. He's gonna want to stay. So if you could restructure his contract, right? Because he has 2 more years to go. You could do it that way. If you're going to extend him, you extend him, right? You extend him for at least 4 to 6 years. If you're going to extend him, if not, that's a restructure on his contract. Usually, he just wants guaranteed money. That's what he's looking for right now. If not, a flat out extension. John, he's already not here. Don't want to rebuild. That's why we're at trade with him. He's not. He's hot. He's not gonna win a Super Bowl for us in his career. We don't know that yet. But I am in agreement in the sense where if we don't put a team together, I'm gonna win a Super Bowl with us in his career. I know he doesn't want to rebuild, but he's a player. If you look at our offense, we need to rebuild or restructure offensively. He doesn't really have a control or say in that part. If he wants a winning season, that's what's going to require of him. AOC is not going to get it done. He might take you to a playoff appearance here and there, but we're not going to go, an AFC championship game. That's never going to happen. Not with AOC. So we need somebody else to help us get there. We need another offensive route runner where it's a threat, like a T. Higgins or somebody of that caliber, right? Jacoby Myers is a good wide receiver too. That's what he's good for. So, we'll see what happens. But if he wants a winning team, that's what has to happen, unfortunately. If you guys are watching the show, thank you guys so much for watching the show. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you get on your notifications. And I drop shorts, and we're doing shows twice a week. So make sure you guys tap into that. Again, let me guys tell me your thoughts. But we are approaching an hour and a half. And again, we still have next week's game as well. We have Chargers and that'll be the last game of the season. And it'll be interesting to see where the Raiders end. On that note, still could be a possibility we win out that one and go to a 3-game winning streak. But obviously, that all depends on whether or not Chargers decide to go ahead and bench starters. They are playoff bound, so that might be a possibility. But obviously, it's a rivalry game, and you always want to stick to your rivals. Did it to them a couple of years ago in 21. I was in the game, and that little towel is a little memory of that where we denied the Chargers in the playoffs. So, but yes, we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, with us losing, we go up in the order. We win, we go down, and we go through the scenario. And it'll be interesting to see how we do it in the off season. But yes, again, thank you guys for joining me on the show. And that is it. I appreciate you guys so much. Again, like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next show, which will most likely be probably New Year's Eve. I'll see whether or not I do a show tomorrow, but I'll probably most likely do one New Year's Eve. We'll do a quick show, and I'll see if I can go ahead and try to have a couple of guests jump on that. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how everybody reaction it will be in this next week. Obviously, there's some people who are happy about this win, like me. There's some people who are not so happy about this win. I don't know. It's funny. It's funny to see the reactions, but I appreciate everyone again jumping on and being part of this show. Thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you next time. And always remember, just Raiders, baby. Peace.